climbing through the ranks. I know we've all had that mindset. You're sitting there, watching the gameplay from someone from a higher rank. I'm way better than this guy, you think to yourself. How is this guy GC? Or maybe you have a less toxic mindset. Maybe you're like, why can't I rank up? What's the core issue in my performance that binds me to this rank I've been stuck in for 4 months? And that's exactly what we're going to be covering. Because today, I'm introducing a 3-part series on this channel called How Do You Compare? In this series, we're getting 4 GCs and getting them to do various challenges. The first one, in today's video, is the Dribbling challenge. We're testing just how good is your average Grand Champ at dribbling. So we're grabbing the performance of these 4 GCs to see how good you need to be at dribbling to reach the highest rank. The Dribbling challenge is widely known as the most popular Steam Workshop map for training. It consists of 30 levels increasing in difficulty throughout. Find a way to dribble the ball on top of your car, over the gaps, around the obstacles to the end of each level. Also, keep in mind all these GCs are 1500 to 1600 MMR level. If you don't know what that means, it's basically just that they're your everyday average Grand Champ. Also, none of them practice the Dribbling challenge a whole lot. They've used it before, so they know the course, but they don't practice it very much. So if you practice this course every week, you'll probably have a home field advantage. So if that's you, don't compare yourself too close. Got it? Alright, let's dive in. GC number 1. This guy had a good start through the first few levels until he got to the first level with a ramp. Level 8. It took him 10 fails to beat it, so not too bad, but not a great start considering he's GC. Then things went mostly fine again until he got another ramp at level 12. This one took him 19 fails to beat it since it's basically level 8 but a little bit harder. Take note that if you're struggling on the levels with ramps, it means you have a hard time speeding up and slowing down when you're dribbling. The next level he struggled on was 14, a level that requires good stable control while going really fast. For this one, he failed 30 times before he finished it, and it took him 3.5 minutes. He did have a lot of fails on 15 too, but that one is mainly about flicking high enough, and it's really short, so it's nothing too remarkable. 17 was also tough. It took him 22 fails, but mainly because he wasn't taking his time. 18 here was the toughest one yet by far. He couldn't seem to find a way past the last obstacle despite getting past the first section a few times. However, despite failing 87 times and trying for 8 minutes straight, he kept trying and finally managed to get through. Level 19, also a difficult one. You can really tell he's getting close to his peak of dribbling skill. He failed 22 times after 3 minutes and finally was able to beat it. Number 20 wasn't very hard for him since it's not a very hard level in general, but it took him 5 tries. And finally, he reached level 21 at a time of 27 minutes and 2 seconds, where he gave it 11 tries and gave up accepting he couldn't make it further. So the result for GC number 1 was he made it to level 21 at 27:02. This is GC number 2. He had a decent amount of fails throughout the first 20 levels, but didn't really struggle too much on any in particular. If anything, level 13 was difficult because he tried flicking it off the start at first. But really, the first level he had trouble with was number 28. He had 10 fails on it, but only spent just over 2 minutes completing it, so it wasn't too bad. Level 29, however, was really tough for him. He failed 34 times before completing it. It took him almost 6 minutes to beat that one level. His main issue was being able to speed up and slow the ball down, which is key on slopes like that. The last level was also tough. Again, it took him almost 6 minutes to beat this one level. He only had 20 fails on it though, since a few times he came up right at the end but couldn't turn it to the side enough. But he finished the map in a time of 27:26 with a total of 125 fails. Here is GC number 3. Throughout the first half of the course, he seemed pretty smooth and got through it with no more than a few fails on some levels. But then he got to level 16. This one can be pretty hard since it's like an inverted air dribble into a catch and then a long dribble to the end. He failed 21 times before completing it. And shortly after, similar to GC number 1, he had a hard time on level 18 where he failed 28 times. The next few levels he got through with only a few fails each until he reached level 21, where he got 16. If you're not good with speeding up and slowing down your control of the ball, you're definitely going to struggle with this one. Levels 22 and 23 weren't too bad for him, but then he reached 24. A really long swervy level with Dorito-like pendulum things blocking your way. He spent 7 minutes on this level before he gave up and couldn't beat it. But he reached the level just after 17 minutes, so the result for GC number 3 was he made it to level 24 at a time of 17:15. This is GC number 4. He had a very strong start. 0 fails up until level 7 where he had just 1. Then he went all the way through the rest of the first 20, only getting 7 total fails combined. Unlike GC number 3, after failing once or twice, this player didn't seem to go about the level any different. If you go back and look at the previous player, it seemed like he let it get to his head a bit. Notice how it seems like he gets worse and worse over time the more he tries level 24. Remember, if you're doing this challenge too, it's just for practice. Now back to GC number 4. He didn't really struggle on any of the levels throughout the entire course. The most fails he had on any of the levels individually was just 3, which he had on 21, 23, 27, and 30, which is the last one. Throughout his gameplay, he seemed to just go about each level not with the intention of completing it fast, but with the intention of completing it with the least amount of fails. And it worked out for him because he finished with a time of 12:55 and a total of 27 fails combined. Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't that his car? Has he been complimenting himself this whole time? Man, this player is really cool. I wish I could be him. Okay, yes, it's me. And no, I didn't practice this challenge a bunch beforehand. This was my first attempt in over a month, and this isn't even my personal best. And yes, I do qualify as a GC because I got my rewards last week. So yeah, I got a time of 12:55. And here's my secret of how I got good at dribbling. There are 2 things that I attribute to my dribbling skill. First one, pretty obvious. It's just free play. I dribble around in free play for a lot of time. I'd be hopping around with the ball in my car and flicking it as far as I can, power sliding, everything difficult I could think of. The other thing I do is actually casual ones. When you queue up for a casual match when you're a higher rank, chances are you're going to be going against someone worse than you. Most people consider this a bad thing, but for ones, I actually consider it good. Most people in casual ones I go against tend to sit back in net, giving me a ton of space to dribble around and basically do whatever I want. Another good thing about it is, in ones, there's only 2 people that could have possession of the ball. You or your opponent. There's no ball-chasing teammate that will never pass it to you or 2 opponents to get by. So there's a lot of time for you to get better, rather than splitting that time up between 3 or even 5 other players. And lastly, it's just casual. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, it means nothing. If you really have the work ethic to get better at dribbling, you'll play casual ones. If you don't, that's fine. Continue sucking. I'm just kidding, I love you. Hey, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, chances are you enjoyed the video, so if you could share it with a friend, that would be amazing. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my tag is right there in the bottom left, or my Discord in the middle, and Twitch on the right. If you want to see more, please hit subscribe, it means so much. Other than that, have a great day, my friends.